Hey everybody, welcome to HomeRecordingMadeEasy.com and here on my YouTube channel. And in this week's video, we are going to take a look and a listen to the ToneSpot Bass Pro plugin by the company Audified. Now, I've done some reviews on some other Audified plugins over the last several months. You can check my plugin review playlist on the YouTube channel, and you've seen I've done things with their drums, and they're also the creator of the Mix Checker and the Mix Checker Pro, which are awesome plugins. And they asked me, this is a newly released plugin as of January 2019, and they asked me if I wanted to take a listen to this. And at first, I got to be honest, I was a little hesitant, going, do we need another kind of plugin like this? What could I use this for? And they said, hey, just take a look, take a listen. If you like it, do a video on it. You don't like it, don't do anything with it. They were really cool about it. And Audified's, the more I've been kind of in communication with them, they're a great company. And they're also someone who was giving us this plugin as well as some of the other plugins, Mix Checker Pro and the Drum Tools plugin. They give us some free plugin licenses as part of the MixingMadeEasy.net contest. I can give those away. So Audified's been really cool and they've been very supportive. So I said, okay, let me take a look and let's take a listen to this together. And I've only played with it for 5 or 10 minutes. So we're going to kind of do this in real time. But before we get to that, if you like what you see in the video, hit that subscribe button. Also go out to HomeRecordingMadeEasy.com, get your 5 free mixing training courses worth about $110. And if you want to learn the craft of mixing and you want to dive down deep into plugins like the ToneSpot Bass Pro, as well as others, and really get better at the craft of mixing and music in your home studio, go over to MixingMadeEasy.net. We're every month giving away free plugins, and this is one of them. I think Audified gave me 4 or 5 licenses to give away over the course of this year. So you can own this too if you're part of the mixing contest. Now let's head on into Studio One and let's take a look at this. So we're using this today. Obviously, we're going to be using this as post after recording in the mixing stage. But the way they kind of also market this plugin is they say it's really good that you can put it on and record through it, which is really cool for your bass tones to get a really good solid bass recording on the way into your DAW, which is kind of cool. So the ToneSpot Bass Pro is really just simply put an all-in-one, everything you could possibly want to work on your bass guitar to get the sound that you're looking for. And there's a lot of variety in it. And it sounds really musical and I really like it. So let's walk through the plugin and let me show you kind of the lay of the land here. And then we'll listen to it on a bass and solo, and then we'll put it in a mix with some drums and some guitars so you can kind of hear it in the context of the mix. And again, I'll put a link in the description box below if you want to go check this out. I believe you can demo it as well. What's the price on it? I should have looked it up. I don't remember the price offhand. I'll leave the link in the description box. You can go check it out. But it's a wonderful plugin. So if you want it all in one, here it is. So if we start over here on the top left-hand corner of the ToneSpot Bass Pro here, we have our input here, right? So we can change our input gain. We have this automatic gain control, which will shut off the manual, of the input. It kind of does it automatically depending on the signal going into the plugin. Okay. We have this where it could be left channel, right channel, stereo. Okay. Underneath this, over on the left-hand side, we have what's called the character section. We have 3 types of character: vintage, natural, and modern. And this is, you just click on the button and it switches between the 3, and we will listen to all of these. Obviously, I think it defaults with their preset at the natural setting. Underneath this, we have some kind of EQ stuff. We have a growl, which gives a little bit of hair, a little bit of distortion, which is kind of cool. We have a scooped kind of a sound and a lo-fi kind of a sound. Really neat. Okay. Then next to that, we have our Subsonic, I think it's called Subsonic bass gain, where you can add in some really low, the real bottom end of the bass. You want to give it a little bit more girth, you can do that here. You have a cutoff point, which you can sweep through the frequencies depending on the bass that was recorded, and then you can dial up the intensity. Okay. Next to that, we have our saturation section. We have some clip gain here, how much clip gain you want, again, done by percentage. We have a little boost button here, and then we also have the mix. You can do this kind of in a parallel kind of a way where you can dial in a little bit of clip gain or give it all the way 100%. The clip gain is going to give you, again, exactly what it sounds like. It's going to give you some clipping, which is kind of, if you want to kind of dirty up the bass, depending on what you want to do, that could be helpful. Then in the center here, we have our shaping section. Okay, and we have a low cut here that you can do if you wanted to do a low cut filter. Okay, next to that on the right, we have what they call a weight, and we have 2 frequency points. And what I love about this plugin, again, this is tailored for the bass, so they picked the 120 and 240K, which is where you would normally want to put a little more body, a little bit more weight of the bass. You just have 2 frequency points, and then you can dial that up or down, plus or minus, 9 dB, okay? Kind of neat. Thump, same thing, 2 frequency points, 180, 360, and again, plus or minus 9 9 dB. We have the body section, 500, 750 hertz, okay, 750. Under that, we have our cut through. If you want the bass to kind of cut through, you have a 1K to, what does this say? I think it's 4K here. The next to that, we have the fret noise, 2 to 4K, 3 to 6K. Again, just clicking this button. Then we have the air up here as well. Again, everything's plus or minus 9 dB, and then we have a high cut if you wanted to use that as well. So your EQ section is really cool because the names kind of represent the sound that you're kind of going for. So if you're someone new to EQ and you're not really sure what frequencies you need to pick based on what you're hearing, you can use the little, you know, to give you a kind of a, you know, if you want to hear a little bit more fret noise, you know it's going to be up in this area here. Okay, so that's kind of handy. We also have our punch. We have our compression. Here we have how much percentage of compression. We have a fast or slow attack. And then we have a gain reduction meter here. Okay, we have a makeup gain here. So if we reduce the volume by doing some compression, we can bring in the, kick in the volume again, or make up the volume loss here in the makeup gain. And then I love the mix control. This is really cool where you can do kind of a parallel compression thing if you want to just bring in some of the dry signal or you want to have the whole compressed signal. Okay, next to this, we have another EQ section called the surgery section, which again, this starts at about 20 hertz all the way up to 10K. And again, you can have a high Q and a low Q, and you can go ahead and you can do plus or minus, plus 20 dB, minus 50 dB. That's interesting. Okay, then we have another one of those here as well to do a little bit more surgical cuts. And you have a high Q where it kind of narrows the Q point. Then we have our smasher, which is another compressor. So you really have two compressors in one here. You can do some light compression, and then you can do some surgical stuff, and then you can go ahead and you can then smash the heck out of you want some parallel compression. So it's the same kind of thing as over here: fast and slow attack, gain reduction meter, makeup gain, the parallel compression mix knob, which is kind of cool. And then next to that, we have our effects section. Okay, so in our effects section, we got some really cool stuff here that can make your bass sound a little more interesting. We have an octave where we can have both the upper and lower octave, or we can click to the upper octave or down an octave on the lower octave, which is really neat. We'll listen to that as well. We have an auto wah, which I thought was really cool. A high, low, and mid, which is kind of nice. Okay, that's kind of cool. And again, underneath each one of those is the intensity. So if you don't want any auto wah, you just make sure the intensity is 0, but you can dial it up to 100%. Okay, with the auto wah, you can sync it to the, you can sync it by measure here if you want, or by time. And then we have our modulation. We have our chorus, flange, or phaser, once again with an intensity knob, and you can switch through them by clicking this button. And then we have, last but not least, the finalizer. We have the enhancer, which is probably more like a sonic maximizer kind of a deal, is my guess. We have a fat, a tight, and a smooth. And again, looks like you can engage all three at the same time, which is kind of interesting. And then you can go ahead and you can turn this up to 10 dB, which is kind of nice. So there's a lot of tools here. I mean, the possibilities are kind of endless. Oh, and then up here at the top, we have our power button. Here we have our output gain, and we have our automatic gain control like we do on the input side. So if you want to do it automatically based on the signal coming in and being processed and going out, it'll do that. Or you can do it manually, it doesn't matter. So lots of stuff here. The other thing that you can do is you can blow up the size of the GUI, which is what I probably should have done when I'm trying to read these little frequency points. Here's at 100%, but we can go up as much as 200%. And look at the size of that. My Lord. Okay. Pretty nice, right? So that's pretty cool. So you can do that 200%. You can do 150. You could even make it smaller if you wanted to go down to 50%. But honest to God, I can't see that with my eyes these days. So I like to put it at like usually 100 to 150. That gives me a nice big GUI to kind of look at, right? Pretty cool. I'm surprised not every plugin company does this. Really surprises me. Most companies should do this. That's a really handy feature. Over here in the center now, we have our presets, and they have some pretty cool presets. Again, we're not going to cycle through all of them, but if you want a starting point, if you're not really sure, because there are a lot of dials on there and it could look a little intimidating, although it is quite easy to use, as we'll hear in a minute, you can come over here. Here's the essential type of things. You want some air boost, you want some body boost or body cut. They have some advanced presets here, and they have some extreme presets here. Okay, if you really want some vintage distortion, you want to dirty things up, however you want to do it. We're just going to leave it on the default for now. And then we have a little wrench here. This little wrench will let you check the user manual, but who the hell needs that? But there is a nice user manual if you want to dive in deep and learn all the under the hood stuff. You can check for updates. You can go out to the Audified website and all that other stuff. You can copy paste settings from one instance to another if you have more than one bass track. So that is the layout. A lot of stuff. So now let's listen. So we're on the default setting. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to let's see. Let's just start off on this character side. Let's just listen to our bass here. First, I'm just going to bypass this, and then I'll bring it in at its default settings. Okay, a little bit of character there, nothing special. We haven't really done anything. So we're on the natural setting. So now if I click through the types here, through the character section, here's a modern setting. As a matter of fact, I'm going to blow this up a little bit so you can see the settings a little better. There we go. That's our vintage. Okay, so you have three very distinct voices between vintage, natural, and modern. Okay, cool. Now, what if we wanted to add, let's say we start on, let's just start on the natural here. Oh, there we go. And let's add some growl and some scoop, and let's just see what that does. Some growl. Scoop it. Lo-fi. Okay, so between the types, the three character types, and by adding one of or multiple of these different additions, you can pretty much get the bass of the bass sound of the bass guitar pretty much at a great starting point, just with using the character section alone, right? So if you wanted to, you can, it almost sounds like that when you stay on natural and add scoop, it sounds like without scoop, it sounds like the modern. Okay, and the same thing with the growl. If you were on the natural setting and you added the growl, it almost sounds like you just being on the vintage setting. Okay, but you can play around with that. Okay, so let's just stay on this for now. Now let's go over to this is the sub bass level generator. So let's see what that does. So you can hear the real low end, right? This is at 120 hertz. So depending on the bass material that's recorded, whether it was EQ'd on the way in and whatnot, you can go ahead and sweep through this, and you can add some really low thickness if you feel like you need it. Pretty cool, right? Now if we bypass the plugin. Neat. Okay, clip gain. Let's take a look at our saturation section. So right now we're at 100% mix. Let's turn this down. Let's kind of turn this up, say 25, 30%. So you can hear it there, right? Now we can even boost it. So kind of almost like a fuzz kind of a vibe, right? So these two things, the sub bass generator and the saturation, would really be good when you dial it in, when you have the whole mix kind of playing, right? You need the bass to cut just a little bit more, you know, but you like the overall, but you just want it to cut through a little bit, or get a little bit dirty. You could put a little bit of saturation on there, and that will really help it cut. Okay, so that's our saturation section. Now, again, here's kind of our shaping section. Again, we talked about the weight, so like 120. You can hear what that does. Right? Or 240. $12 is at unity. We have no added frequency, right? So that's pretty cool. Here's our thump, 180. Here's the body. $750. Let's check out the cut through. There you go. You can really hear the fret noise now. The air. Not much going on here, right? 8,000 hertz. You're not going to get much information up there. And then we have our compressor section. So let's fast compression maybe on this. You can see the gain reduction meter right here. So we're at 100% compressed, and then we'll just turn up the makeup gain a little bit. Before. A little louder, turn that down. Let's get a little more compression. You can really hear it grabbing that transient on those single notes. Works really nice. Sounds doesn't sound muddy. It sounds pretty good. Okay, and you have fast and slow attack and simple compressor. Okay, and then we have the surgery section. Again, you can go ahead and dial it in if you wanted some more EQ options. Right? So oddly enough, or not oddly enough, unity, zero deep, zero gain or boost or cut is more at like the 2 o'clock position. Okay, where on the shaping section it's at high noon. Just to be aware of that. But you can see the value here, and you can double click in there and you can type in there, and that's always cool too. Okay, then we have another compressor over here if you wanted to compress it even further. Maybe a little slower attack this time. Bypass it. Put a little bit more makeup gain in there. Okay, now we have our effects section, which will be kind of fun. So let's start with our octave. So here we go. There it is. it's exaggerated so you can hear it. It's kind of a subtle thing. It's what I like about it. Very subtle, but that sounds cool. Right? Again, in the mix, it could really help. You want some interesting sound. That's without it. Okay. Auto-wah. Auto-wah would sound cool on the single notes. Hear it? Wah, 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 wah. Pretty neat. And then lastly, we have our modulation section, chorus. Chorus is a nice way to thicken things up. Flanger. Okay, and then lastly, we have our enhancer section. So let's check that out. Fat. It's before. After. Tight. Tight's going to get a little bit more upper mids, maybe. Yep. Smooth. It's before the plugin. Let's get a little wah. Might be kind of neat. Okay, so that's the walk through the plugin. So now let's put it in context with some drums and maybe some guitars and stuff, just so we can hear it. And I'll make the bass a little louder than the rest of the instrumentation so we can kind of hear how it sits in the mix, because that's what really matters. So let's and some keyboards. What the hell? Oh, and by the way, the rest of the mix is using the SSL channel strip on it, which is a video on my YouTube channel, and this doing some processing before on the entire mix, with the exception of the bass. I turned it off, so you can see it here. So before everybody gets excited in the comments, because I know some of you like to do that, this plugin is turned off, so there's no processing before it hits the ToneSpot Bass Pro, okay? So here we go. Let's just kind of listen. Before. I will switch through some of the character sections. See if we get some fret noise. So there you go. So you can dial in, I mean, anything really. I mean, however you want your bass to sound in your mix. This has got a lot of great tools in it, you know, and sometimes you see these kind of all-in-one plugins. I don't know too many of them to do a bass specific one. I'm sure there's some out there. I've never tried any of them. This is the first one. But there's other kinds of, you know, all-in-one types of plugins where sometimes half the features are really kind of useless. They're not very musical, and they're, you know, it almost just becomes just a, you know, a fancy feature thing that really isn't a practical plugin. This is not that. This is very practical. Everything here is very musical. Everything here is, again, tailored towards the bass, which is fantastic. And you have everything you need. You have EQ sections, an extensive EQ section, 2 compressor sections, you know, enhancers, clip gain, saturation, you know, different character types. You really have it all here. And again, you can always use their presets, and we can try a couple here quickly. Our essential presets. Let's say we wanted to get it to, you know, body cut, and let's just see what it sounds like. Wow, a lot of compression on that. So there you go. I think this is a great plugin. If you don't have, and you know, if this is nice, this is one that I would use. I would absolutely use this. There's a lot of times where, you know, with bass guitar, you know, you can have 3 or 4 separate plugins, you know, stacking your plugins together to get your EQ, your compressor, your saturator, your blah, 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 blah. You got everything right here in one plugin. I think this is really good. I'm going to definitely use this on some mixes going forward, especially over at mixingmadeeasy.net. And I really like this. I think you ought to check this one out. This is one of those ones where you go, yeah, this can be very practical. And if you have this, you really don't need any other bass kind of plugins. You kind of have it all here. So, you know, click the link in the description box below. Go check it out. Go demo it. You like it, pick it up. You don't like it, don't use it. But I think it's a good plugin, and I would recommend this one to you folks if you want to check something out like this. And if you want it for free, all you have to do is be a member of mixingmadeeasy.net and enter the monthly mixing contest, and you can have a chance to win this one for free, as well as a bunch of other plugins by Audified and other companies. So I hope you found this video helpful. This is a look at the ToneSpot Bass Pro by Audified. Again, click all the links in the description box below. Make sure you go to homerecordingmadeeasy.com. Make sure you go to mixingmadeeasy.net. Check out all that other stuff. Get all your free training courses, and follow me here on YouTube and all the social media platforms, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys.